strange creature roams or flies above the Pine Barrens of New Jersey, a horrifying chimera of animal features designed to strike fear into those who see it. Is the Jersey Devil a warning not to evoke the devil, a misidentified real animal, or a clever, important piece of colonial history?
Ooh.
Yeah. Hey, y'all. Welcome to episode 10 of Legends and Loggers. My name is Parker Wohlstein. I'm a forester and a wildlife biologist. I'm joined by my co-host and brother,
Zac Wohlstein, and I'm an outdoor television producer. I don't really have anything else to say.
Today we're going to be diving into a cryptid that is so well known that it has its own hockey team named after it, the New Jersey Devils. I have really no love or hate for them except the fact that PK Subban played with them for like 3 years or something like that. But more importantly, he played for the Nashville Predators and did pretty daggum good. So we're okay with the Devils.
All right.
Well, we're not okay with the devil.
Devils.
We're okay
plural.
with the Devils, the New Jersey
Devils
hockey team, the Devils. Despite the Jersey Devil being so popular, I don't really know if I've heard of that many Jersey Devil sightings per se.
I saw
none of
that
them
episode
really.
of Lost Tapes.
Yeah, I remember like the Lost Tapes, and then there might have been like a Monster Quest, but I don't remember the content of any of them. But we're going to get into quite a bit of sightings today, as well as some history that you probably didn't know. But before we get into all that, Zach, what you drinking?
All right, so I'm going to level with you guys. I had one that I wanted to get for this episode, but I got my dates mixed up and I didn't get it. So today I have something called Crook and Marker, classic lime margarita. So not even a beer.
Right.
Yeah. Which, and I'm sure it's going to be delicious. And the connection here is that this right here was bottled in West Palm, Florida. Florida, East Coast, New Jersey.
A lot of New Jerseyans are probably snowbirds that fly down to West Palm, Florida.
Therefore, what is this? Crook and Marker.
Makes perfect sense. I have got...
oh, cool.
I'm trying to think of what the name is. Oh, yeah, of the brand. This is Reasonably Corrupt by Great Raft, I believe.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Out of Shreveport, Louisiana. It's got a Mark Twain looking guy with a snake on it.
Oh, wow. That is a snake.
I didn't really have a beer for this episode. My very loose connection is that I'm guessing there's been some New Jersey governors that are really corrupt. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah, because there's like that New
Freaking
York
nailed it.
guy that was like crazy corrupt, right? Like doing all the mafia stuff.
Yeah.
And all that. There's probably
This
the
is
same
just next
thing in
door,
New Jersey,
so-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a black lager,
Wow.
which it says robust and smooth with a light body. Don't let the darkness fool you. Drink real beer.
All right.
Yeah,
All right, crack
should
it.
be good. I'm not even gonna do a countdown anymore.
3,
You always fail.
2, 1.
No, I just said I'm not going to.
Ah. I swallowed wrong. Tell my story.
He was born in 1945, right after the fall of Japan.
Well, that's
as
delicious,
an
yeah.
empire.
Tastes like a little lime margarita.
Mine is interesting. It's stout.
I'm sure
stout,
it is.
dude.
If it's a black, yeah, I bet.
The color that's in the room here, it looks like a Dr. Pepper or like Coke or something.
Wow.
It is that color.
That's crazy.
Wild. It tastes pretty good though. I mean,
All right.
I'm into a lot more kind of stout things. It's not like as desserty though as a lot of stouts are. Like that coffee, the chocolate one that I had, that was pretty desserty.
Yeah.
Guinness, like I can only have like one or two, because like they're so thick.
Yeah.
Like they just stay on you. This is definitely lighter while still being like a more full body coming at you kind of thing.
Well, that sounds pretty cool, actually. I'll need to look for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we hop into it, I got one more thing. In celebration of this episode, my wife made a little crochet Jersey Devil.
Whoa!
She made this, dude.
That's wild.
Yeah, so we'll talk about his features and whatnot later.
I like his little wings.
Yeah, the wings are rad. It's a cute little thing. I'm gonna have it sitting next to me here on the table. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Just a little bit. But yeah.
Sweet. One other thing before we hop in. If you guys have any encounters or stories want to be a guest on the podcast, then please let us know. Either send it to
legends@wohlstein.media. It'll
legends
be in the
at
description.
Wohlstein. Yeah, it'll be in the description, or shoot us a DM on our social media at Legends and Loggers on a bunch of stuff. Just get in touch with us, drop a comment, do something, let us know. We'll get in contact with you, and you can come on here, tell a story, be on here for the full episode if you're an expert on it. We'd love to hear from y'all.
We have a couple of people lined up now, which is pretty exciting for whenever we get to it. But
you ready for some stories?
Yes, sir. I believe I am.
All right. So there's a lot of variation on the origin of the Jersey Devil, that story, but this is probably the most popular version. I threw in some little embellishments and took from other versions to kind of just make it more fun. So there's a woman named Jane Leeds, often called Mother Leeds. Mrs. Leeds had 12 children with her husband Daniel, and sometime in 1735, she discovered she was pregnant with her 13th child.
Ooh, that's too many.
This child was unwanted by Mrs. Leeds, and the pregnancy was difficult. On a dark, stormy night, she went into labor. The only sound that broke the consistent sound of her agonized screams and the heavy downpour was loud rumblings of thunder. In her anger about having a 13th child and how much pain she was in, Mrs. Leeds cried out, "Let it be the devil." The wind howled around the small house and the candles inside flickered. With the last painful push, she discovered her curse was true. The child came out normal, but before her eyes appeared to become a devil. It grew to be 6 feet tall with a horse-like head, red glowing eyes, cloven feet, elongated limbs, and large bat-like wings as black as night. With an evil screech, it crawled through the chimney of the house and flew off into the night air. Her devil child then began to terrorize the Leeds family as well as the surrounding Pine Barrens area. That's your general story. Some versions, she was cursing her baby during the pregnancy. Some versions, the Jersey Devil doesn't go out the chimney; it goes through the cellar door. And then some versions talk about how Mrs. Leeds was a witch.
What? Is she really?
No, probably not.
Ah.
She might have been into, at that time, if you're like, I'm going to use rosemary to help my cough, they'd be like, you what?
I know how to use math.
Yeah. I know how to count past 50.
Yeah, I saw some video about that. It's freaking hysterical. So our takeaway there is don't curse at your baby during pregnancy, I guess, right?
Yeah, don't curse people, because then you might get your wish, and you won't like it.
Yeah.
So, from that birth origin story in 1735 to 1740, the Jersey Devil, or the Leeds Devil, was terrifying the locals. Many reports started coming out of mutilated livestock and children being kidnapped as well. Residents were consistently hearing the same evil cries from the pine woods, and it got so bad within the area that residents contacted a local priest to perform an exorcism of the beast. He comes out and he agrees to do it and performs the ritual, but he claimed that the exorcism would only protect people and their livestock for 100 years. Thankfully, the exorcism worked, and there was no more animals slaughtered, no more missing children, and no more horrific shrieks coming from the already spooky pine woods. And the devil was gone until 1840, precisely 100 years after the exorcism occurred. All of a sudden, people sighted black-winged beast again. More livestock were torn apart. The devilish cries returned, and they were finding hoof prints all over the woods and around people's homes.
Now, I wonder, is this, like... I wonder if there's, like, documents of this, like, all this crap going on, like, kids going missing, livestock dying in 1740, and if there's, like, another uptick in 1840, because that'd be a pretty interesting...
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. Long story short is there is stories and reports of them happening.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Somebody said that they quieted down for that time period. Do we know if they actually did?
That's a little up in the air.
Yeah, not really.
Much like the Jersey Devil.
Yeah. Speaking of, funny enough, right around 1840, Napoleon Bonaparte's brother, Joseph, if you didn't know, he lived in, like, America for a while. And he was renting a cabin in the Pine Barrens right there in New Jersey for a while, and actually claimed to have seen the Jersey Devil while on a hunting trip, I believe, right there on the property that he was renting. So if you didn't know, you could connect Napoleon Bonaparte to Jersey Devil. Now you know how.
Also, his brother's name is Napoleon, and this guy's name is Joseph.
Yeah, that's kind of lame.
Yeah, it's like Bartholomew and Jack. Like,
I mean, I guess that attests to why Napoleon was trying to conquer, like, the entire world. Meanwhile, Joseph was running a hunting cabin.
There you go.
Over there in New Jersey.
Big name, big aspirations.
Yeah. So also around that time, a naval officer, Commodore Stephen Decatur, was testing cannabis. He was smoking a lot of weed.
High out of his mind. And then all of a sudden he spotted this strange creature.
Strange. So around that time, a naval officer, Commodore Stephen Decatur, was testing cannonballs made there locally when he spotted a strange flying creature. Like a Chad King 1800s guy.
Every episode.
Of course, he shot at it with his cannon
all right.
that he was testing. Every episode of mine. Got to have a Chad King in there somewhere. Supposedly, he hit it and punched a hole through one of its wings.
Wow.
But the thing just kept on flying like nothing ever happened. But supposedly, he was able to, like, see the hole in its wing from the cannonball.
Now, if it's some sort of demon thing, I'll buy that. But if it's an animal, I don't buy that for a second.
Yeah, it's a big creature, but it's not big enough to just take a cannonball through the wing.
Take a cannonball and be okay.
Yeah, I'd still be able to fly.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty ridiculous. So consistent but pretty chill sightings and encountered happened over the next 30 years. I guess as chill as spotting a devil in the woods would really be.
Pretty tame. Maybe a couple dozen instead of 200.
Yeah, like the ones that I was seeing from like that time up until 1909, it was kind of like, oh, somebody thinks that they saw it. Okay, like just
that's as much as
not really any substance there. But in 1909, there was a huge spike of Jersey Devil activity. In 1 week in January, there was over 100 confirmed sightings and reports, which is crazy for a cryptid over 1 week.
And that's pretty recent too.
Yeah, 1909. Yeah, there's over 100 in just a week. That's for as far as cryptid reports go. I mean, some of these cryptids, you're lucky to get like one every 10 years.
With that, they're for sure seeing something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what kind of lent a lot of credence to this for sure. So we're going to run through a bunch of these 1909 sightings. Starting off on January 16th, 1909, in Bristol, Pennsylvania. A policeman was responding to a call of a general disturbance where dogs in a neighborhood were going crazy, barking and growling uncontrollably. While investigating the disturbance, he suddenly got that eerie feeling that somebody was watching him. You know, you kind of get that like third sense where you're like, I feel like I'm being watched.
Yeah.
He turned around, and hopping in the shadows was the famed chimera. He saw a winged creature with all the strange features of the devil. The officer ran at the beast and fired, and the beast let out a horrifying shriek and hovered before flying into the night.
Well, I imagine he just like ascends for a second and then starts flying.
Yeah, if it was like hurt by the gunshot,
How did it take a cannonball
hover
early,
there?
first of all?
True, but like, you know, if it like was actually hurt enough to shriek and stuff, why would it
Get the heck out of
hover there for a minute? You think it would just like keep on going? But oh well. And then that same night, there was a report by E.W. Minster, a postman in the same town, Bristol, Pennsylvania. He said, I awoke about 2 o'clock in the morning. Finding myself unable to sleep, I arose and wet my head with the cold water as a cure for insomnia. There you go. You just learned a little fun fact.
No,
if you're in 1909
wait.
and you have insomnia, wet your head with cold water.
I feel like that's what you should do if you're like if you can't wake up, right? That's what I would do if I couldn't wake up. Put something cold on my freaking face. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that many a time. I've never done it the inverse
It's
way.
like the same reason why I take a shower as soon as I get up. It wakes you up right away.
Yeah. I can't do that because I just get too dirty.
Yeah.
It would be pointless. I'd be like one of those people that showers 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's trying to cure his insomnia with cold water. As I got up, I heard an eerie, almost supernatural sound from the direction of the river. I looked out upon the Delaware and saw flying diagonally across what appeared to be a large crane, but which was emitting a glow like a firefly. Its head resembled that of a ram with curled horns, and its thick, long neck thrust forward in flight. It had long, thin wings and short legs, the front legs shorter than the hind. Again it uttered its mournful and awful call, a combination of a squawk and a whistle. The beginning of the call is very high and piercing, while the ending is very low and hoarse.
A squawk and a whistle. Squawk. Squawk. How do you even do that? I don't even know. all right.
I hope as you're listening to the audio, that raven call just jump scares you. You got any comments on that one? That's pretty scary, huh?
It is pretty scary. Like imagine it seeing something. I like specifically the his long neck thrust for. No, sorry, long thick neck was thrust forward in flight. Like I imagine
in a romantic fashion.
Oh no, I don't know about that. I'm sorry, I just meant like
neck
it sounds like he's
forward.
freaking going, dude.
Just like rattlesnake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
trying to get to the sun.
Trying to get to the sun. This guy, where is he heading for? Does it say?
No, he's just going around.
Diagonally.
Yeah, around the Delaware. Just having
also,
fun.
I like how this one, like normally whenever there's glowing, it's their eyes. This one just says that it was glowing.
Yeah, I think that was the only one that said that the whole thing was glowing.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time it's red eyes.
Yeah.
So the next night, on the night of the 17th, in Burlington, New Jersey, the Loudon family were asleep in their house when they were awoken by the sounds of the Jersey Devil. It was circling their home, letting out its roars, and eventually was trying to open the door to their house.
Whoa.
Like Jurassic Park Velociraptor on the door handles style. Ugh, that gives me the heebie-jeebies.
For real.
I mean, it stands no chance with hooves, but still.
Oh my god,
it was trying to get in. Yeah. It
like,
went away.
Hey, oh, come on, let me in.
Hey, I'm Isn't I'm walking here in New York?
Yeah, it is.
Is New York the
I
same
guess I
as
don't know the
Jersey?
Jersey accent.
Snooky,
Yeah.
the situation.
Yeah, this is and then he's like pointing at his like goat legs or something.
It's just my situation is I can't open your door because I have hooves. Please help. Let me in. I am not the devil. It's just something that looks like the devil.
And
Please let me into
he's
your
like
home.
I am not the devil.
So eventually it left after not being able to get inside the house. I'm sure it could have. I mean, they probably had windows.
Yeah, right.
Just smash
didn't
their
want
window.
it.
What do you care? Yeah, he didn't want it enough. I mean, is he scared of like having to reimburse him?
Yeah.
Like just smash through it if you really want to get in and spook these people.
Yeah, for real.
It's a pretty bad devil. Anyway, so eventually it went away, and in the morning they found cloven tracks in the snow with their trash thrown about the yard. Their neighbors also found the same tracks, which, if you wake up and you find cloven tracks in the snow, it's like, oh, there might have been a deer or something. This is still 1909, so the cities probably weren't too huge. A deer could have snuck in there. Well, the neighbors found the same tracks, and they would go across rooftops,
Whoa, that's a cool
then
freaking deer.
disappear. Yeah, then they disappear
Is it
and be
Santa?
in the backyard, and then they would reappear back up on the rooftops. Like it was just like from rooftop to ground to rooftop. So yeah, it probably is Santa.
Yeah. Oh my God. First the chimney,
well,
right? First he escaped through the chimney, and then now he's on the rooftops. Jersey Devil Santa confirmed. There we go, guys. Holy crap.
I need to go add that to my list of explanations.
Yeah.
That might be the most credible one. Well, I believe our time is done here. We've solved the mystery. Next week, tune in for a different mystery
Yeah. Next week,
in which we will solve.
Next week, we discover the Easter Bunny.
And his pagan origins.
Yeah.
Uncover his mask to see who he really is. Anyway, so the tracks are like going from rooftops back to the yard, just impossible for anything else that has hooves to do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Santa jokes aside, can you imagine seeing first of all, I don't know how they saw it on the roof, but imagine seeing these hoof prints and then they're just gone, and you realize that there's the exact same hoof prints on the roof. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, that's like one thing. You're like, okay, it could be like an animal.
Yeah.
Weird, but it could be an animal. But then they're just up on the roof.
You're
Like it leads to the roof, and then they stop, and then it starts right back up at the same position on the roof.
Yeah.
That's no bueno.
That's freaky,
Would not
dude.
like that. And during this time, they said that the people of Burlington had devil fever, and a lot of people legit feared leaving their house. Like they were so scared of the Jersey Devil, they would refuse to leave their homes.
And this
they're
is
trying
during
to
that
avoid it.
1909 time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if there's 100 sightings of it and everybody's talking about it, well, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
I don't really blame them, honestly.
Yeah, people were refusing to do stuff at night. They were basically doing a curfew. So then the night after that, the 19th, in Gloucester City, a couple named Mr. and Mrs. Evans heard strange noises outside and woke up at around 2:30 a.m. They saw the devil on the roof of their shed and apparently watched it for almost 10 minutes.
Wow.
And Mr. Evans, getting such a good look at it, he described the creature like this: about 3.5 feet high, with a head like a collie dog and a face like a horse. It had a long neck, wings about 2 feet long, and its back feet were like those of a crane. It had horse's hooves. It walked on its back legs and held up 2 front short legs with paws on them. It didn't use the front legs at all while we were watching. My wife and I were scared, I tell you, but I managed to open the window and say, "Shoo," and it turned around, barked at me, and flew away.
Shoe?
Yeah, he just Chad King Evan. He sees the literal Jersey Devil on the roof of his shed, watches it for 10 minutes, takes notes of what it looks like, and then he's like, "All right, my wife is scared." So he opens up the door and he goes, "Shoo!" And he goes, "Woof!" And then flies
Hey.
off. Yeah, that's a long time to be watching a creature.
Yeah, for real, dude.
He never says what it was doing up there. You know? Like, why is it just hanging out on his shed?
Yeah, watch it be
What's the deal with that?
playing a game or something. It's just hanging out for a minute. Had a long
Playing in
day.
the snow. Yeah, that's a good little lesson for you viewers at home.
Yeah,
And if
there's
you
a
see
monster,
something really spooky, just shoo it.
Yeah.
You know, either you can go with like the shoo it literally, like go with the whole like mom with a flip flop thing.
There you go, yeah.
Start beating it to death, or you can go like old man, like shoo. You know, get out of here.
or you get like a broom, it's kind of guided out.
Like that one lady from Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, exactly.
That was just like beating the snot out of everything.
Man, these people back in the 1840s or 1740s, that's all they had to do. All these people dying and whatnot, they should just shoot it.
They did. That one cop shot it with a gun. The other guy shot it with a cannon, and it was fine.
Yeah, okay.
But this guy wins just saying shoo and opening up a door. So, I don't know. Is it really truly that scary of a creature?
It's like a snake,
I don't know.
It's more scared of you than you are of it.
Right. I doubt that. Well, he's stalking people. So then 2 nights later, on the 21st, a report from a telegraph lineman came in saying, in an isolated spot in the Jersey Pines, about 5 miles from Pleasantville, at a place known as Beaver Pond, one of the linemen, Howard Campbell, was detailed on a piece of work a little distance from the rest of the men on duty. After walking a little way into the woods, his attention was attracted by something coming down the path toward him. He became so frightened by the unusual appearance of the thing that he straightway made for the nearest telegraph pole, letting out several yells for help and losing his wits entirely by the time he reached the top of the pole. Campbell threw himself out onto the mass of wires between the 2 poles and was lying there helpless by the time the rest of the gang, including myself, had arrived. Seeing the terror on the pole, I raised my gun and fired. One shot broke a wing and it fell to the ground, uttering hideous screams.
Wow.
But before anyone could collect his wits, the thing was up and off with long strides and a sort of hop, dragging one wing and then disappearing into a pine thicket.
Well, it's the second person to say that it hops and whatnot.
Yeah. We got ropes and other tackle and helped Campbell down from his precarious position. As nearly as I can describe the terror, it had the head of a horse, the wings of a bat, and a tail like a rat's, only longer.
Wow.
That's an encounter right there.
Yeah, for real.
Man.
That's a pretty cool encounter.
And like I like that it wasn't like it wasn't just like somebody writing in the papers like, "Oh, it was around my house. By the way, my name is so and so and I own this company. Please come visit my shop."
Yeah.
And I was like, just this lineman was like, I think it was a report to like the higher ups was like, they're like, "Hey, what happened last night?" And he's like, "Yeah, this like the crew was out doing their thing. This one guy went to go do
Holy
something,
crap.
and like all this crap happened."
Yeah.
Like I think it was like a report because this guy literally threw himself off of one of the telephone poles.
And was
telegraph
caught by the
poles.
wires. Dude, you have to be freaking horrified to jump.
Yeah. Yeah, if he slipped through the wires, then he was gone, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's crazy.
I mean, I'd be pretty freaked out. I don't know if I'd, climb a pole and then throw myself off. I'd probably just, lay there and take it.
I don't know.
It's probably gonna get me quick,
Yeah. But what would be quicker, like breaking your neck on the way down, or like when it once hits the ground, or We're having the Jersey Devil tear you to shreds.
I don't know. I'd like to be like, oh, dude, I would have like ran towards it and I would have punched it. I probably would have sat on the ground and I would have prayed that it goes away. That's probably exactly what happened. If I didn't have like a gun or something, if I had a gun and I shot it first, then maybe. But if it keeps on coming, then I'm not racking another shell. I'm setting the gun on the ground. I'm sitting down on the ground. Dear Jesus, please don't let me die.
My Father who art in heaven,
not by this
hallowed be thy
guy.
name.
Yeah. Don't let the Jersey Devil get me.
Not like this.
I don't want not a chimera. Come on, at least something like
Something proper.
I'd rather die like, well, I'm 80 years old. I've always wanted to hug a grizzly. Here we go.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. Not some creepy evil chimera.
I've always heard the term bear hug, and I want to find out what it feels like.
Today's the day.
Yeah.
It's my only chance. Anyway, yeah, that he had to seen something freaky to just up and I mean he's probably used to being kind of out there working at night, and I think they were working at night. Or
I just kind of assumed because all the other sightings were during the night, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what time this was. I don't know. It might have been in broad daylight.
Well, that's even worse, honestly.
Either way, I mean, I feel like if they're used to going out there and like checking on these lines that can kind of be out in more remote areas, because they're building more telegraph lines, and it says it was a pretty isolated spot. I mean, they're probably used to seeing some woods every once in a while.
Yeah.
And the fact that he saw something so freaky that he just
Was
up
willing
and
to
jumped
dang
off
near
a
kill
telegraph
himself.
pole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if he was trying to and just
Honestly, yeah.
maybe caught.
Maybe it was like one of those like 9/11 type things where they're like, well, I could die by fire or I could die by falling. And so he chose falling.
Yeah. That's good to bring up 9/11 on the anniversary.
No way. Is that when this one's airing?
I don't know, but
It's pretty close.
that'd be something. Yeah, that's probably close by.
This one it's going up in September though, so
I mean, how come all of our references keep on being New York instead of New Jersey? Do we know anything about New Jersey?
yeah, right.
Besides Jersey Shore?
No. There's an episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they go to a Jersey beach.
Yeah, they have boardwalks.
They have boardwalks.
Yeah,
There's empires on those boardwalks.
they have cranberry bogs.
I don't know.
Maybe
Rumham.
Rumham. Excellent.
Syringes on beaches.
Huh?
Syringes on the beaches.
Yeah. Getting your braids, cotton, stuff. Anyway, we just lost like 1,000 viewers.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So after that like week or so in 1909, Jersey Devil kind of went dark again. Nobody knows why. Just there's like a couple sightings that I saw, but all of them were like,
I saw it, and that's all.
yeah, all of them were like, all the encounters and reports I could find were just one sentence like, so and so saw a black creature that he believes had bat wings.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't want to go through here and just on Tuesday, July, blah, blah, just doing that for a bunch of them.
Yeah.
There's like a couple sightings, but nothing like what just happened.
Nothing worth
in
really talking
1909.
about.
Yeah. So then the Jersey Devil showed up again in Gibbstown, New Jersey for 2 days in 1951. A typical childhood fear that we all have became all too real for this one kid. One night, a young boy was laying in bed when he looked out of his window. When he did, he saw the creature looking back at him through his window. Jersey Devil, just big, red glowing eyes.
Monster-looking thing.
I mean, all of us have had that. If you
Yeah.
have a window in your bedroom, you're like, I feel like something's watching me, but I don't want to look at the window. And then you get up enough courage and you look, there's nothing there. This kid was like, okay,
Dude, but what if
I'll
there
just
was?
look. And then he looked and it was there,
Yeah.
just staring right back at him.
Jeez, dude.
So he screamed so loud and was so terrified that he went into convulsions. Like, was just like spazzing out. He was so terrified.
Yeah.
Um, Sadly enough, that wasn't the only kid that it happened to. The next night, there was another very unfortunate boy that had the exact same thing happen to him. He's laying in bed, kind of hears something, looks out his window. Jersey Devil is staring right back at him. Every time I say look in the window, it just my hair on the back of my
Yeah,
neck.
dude. That's that's such a relatable fear.
It's such a trope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not asking for Marlboro Reds and
Yeah.
saying that you forgetted your baby.
Yeah, he's not from West Virginia. He's the real deal.
This guy's probably a mob boss. So maybe the Jersey Devil is back to his missing children antics here in 1951. All throughout the town, people reported to hear the shrieks of the Jersey Devil, and one man reported that the creature almost grabbed him in the forest.
With his
Search
lips?
parties, I guess. That one guy said that the front legs were paws.
Oh,
So-
okay.
I don't know. Everybody else just said that it had hooves. So I don't know what it grabbed him with. Maybe that's why it didn't grab him.
Yeah.
You know, like it was coming at him. He's like, "It's gonna get me," and then it just like kind of knocks him on the head, and he's like, "Why didn't it grab me?" And then
It's like,
he just sees
huh.
hooves flying off.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Weird.
It's like a
hooves
claw machine
dangling.
that just couldn't get it.
Well, I was expecting like, you know how like a hawk will like fly in and grab and keep going. It does that, but there's nothing, so it just bonks him in the head. Keeps on going like, "Ow!" What's that?
It's like, ow, what a jerk.
So there's so much going on these 2 days that search parties were made where the townsfolk went through the woods while armed, and apparently they found some odd tracks out there. A
Cool.
bunch of weird stuff and hoof prints, you know, typical of Jersey Devil. And like, it's not like people were just like, I mean, they could have been deer, but I think they were like, you know, much bigger. And like, hooves look different than deer. You know, like goat hooves look way different, and horse hooves look way different than what's going on with deer toes.
Yeah.
The police didn't like all the paranoia because like this whole town for those 2 days was just panicking.
out,
You know,
yeah.
dads are leaving the house to go in the woods to try and find this devil that's supposedly around. So they ended up arresting anybody that they found searching the woods,
Wow.
and started putting up signs around town claiming that the Jersey Devil was just totally a hoax. They had no evidence that it was a hoax, but they started calling it one.
Just to try and get rid of the paranoia and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people were just going crazy.
Yeah.
Ugh, dude, I hate that window thing.
Yeah, for real. That's like the scariest thing. Like, I know you touched on like that fear everybody has. Like that is such a relatable. I think everybody's had that thing at some point or another. And to imagine
I mean,
something actually being there, something monstrous too, not just like a person, like a shadowy figure.
the same thing happened with that first 1909 one with that police officer, because you know, everybody every once in a while gets that feeling where you're like, oh, somebody or something is watching me.
Yeah,
you kind of
you
look
over your
around.
shoulder and you're all good.
Maybe it's like somebody glancing at you or doing like that, you know. But like to look around and then the friggin' Jersey Devil's right there,
Yeah.
just hopping in the shadows.
Also, I like that
Which-
detail of hopping in the shadows. I imagine like hopscotch or maybe a pogo stick.
what we hop in the shadows.
Oh yeah, in the shadows. Yeah.
That'd be a
he's just
terrible show.
chilling. Just having a good time hopping around in the shadows.
I wonder if it's just like human kind of sixth sense that something's looking at you. Stop doing that. Or kidding. Yeah, I wonder if it's like human sixth sense that is like, oh, something's looking at me, or wonder if it's like just its presence of evil or whatever, or if it's like kind of getting in your head, like, I'm watching you, turn around,
All right, hear me
look
out.
at me.
Hear me out. Brain waves, right? How far do those
Brainwaves.
signals go? Are we picking up on someone else's brain signals? You know,
Well, I mean, if it's going from a
that's pretty far.
demon thing, it could probably go a ways.
Yeah.
I imagine they could do all sorts of evil stuff and never say anything about it. So here's a user submitted sighting from NewJerseyDevilHunters.com. From originally occurred in 1973. This website doesn't exist anymore, but I swear it did at one point. So don't call me for making up fake stories. I don't have the time to make up fake stories for these episodes with how much research we have to do.
Yeah, a lot goes into this. I hope you guys appreciate it.
Anyway, user submitted one. He says, it was summer and 11 or so at night, and we were down there getting drunk and silly, maybe 4 couples. There was a good light because there was a very bright moon. There was a crashing in the brush next to the road, and a large black animal that appeared almost like a big deer with big black wings came out and swept those wings down and cleared the hoods of the cars.
Wow.
I don't know what that means.
I want to assume it like jumped over the hoods of the car.
Yeah, I guess. Needless to say, we all tumbled into the cars and went to a better lit area. But even the next day, when we were all sobered up, we could all describe the same thing right down to the red eyes.
Right down. Well, I feel like that'd be the easiest thing to describe. You know?
Yeah.
Everything else is a little iffy here or there, but like red eyes would really stand out.
Yeah, since this one's a user submitted, I'm like, that's a good punchline. You know, it's a good way to end a spooky story. But it's like, that would be besides the big black wings, that's the second thing you notice. Right. Like the things that are literally glaring at you.
At night, I would even say that the big red eyes is the first thing you'd see. And then it had wings too, 4 legs.
Yeah, they're black wings, and it was 11 at night.
Yeah.
You know? And also, I like how, if you guys could see the way that this is written, because I copied and pasted the full thing, so I didn't screw it up or anything or mess with this guy's story. But it's got like so many exclamation points and like just randomly goes into parentheses to describe the area. And like, I don't know, I just read this as like a 1950s article.
Almost like an essay type thing.
Yeah, like, needless to say, we all tumbled into the cars and went back to a better lit area!
Yeah.
Exclamation point. It's like
an area free of the Jersey Devil. Parentheses.
Yeah, basically. So 4 years later, I believe back in Gibbstown, New Jersey. So in 1977, in Gibbstown, New Jersey, some shrieks are heard by Boy Scouts, and eventually they see the devil. Later in the year, campers that were camping in the same campground as those original Boy Scouts, they heard super loud screaming, and the Jersey Devil actually came and started shaking the trailers that they were camping in. I don't believe anybody got a look at it, but they just kept hearing just like super loud roars and shrieking, and their campers were just like shaking. So, I mean, it takes a lot to shake a whole trailer.
Yeah, that's a big.
Yeah, and while making those noises, that's pretty freaky. I'd probably never camp again.
Yeah. Honestly, though,
and then, yeah, there's something else. I think Nicole was listening to a podcast where it's like getting out alive stories, like people get mauled by bears, they fall off a mountain while ice climbing. Wow. And I was like, I'd be done. Like if something like that happens, done.
Yeah, no, I'm an indoor person there on out too. I'll watch a nature documentary maybe here or there, but that's as close as I'm getting after that.
I mean, if I have like close calls, whatever, because like obviously, you know, I had the thing with the tractor today. Yeah. I'm gonna get on the tractor tomorrow, you know, but like one person was ice climbing, and then like I think like one of their friends died, one was unconscious in a crevice, and like 2 were like just like barely alive. After that, I'd be like, I'm not gonna climb a mountain
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm down
Like,
mountain climbing.
I had my thrills, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, so in the same area around that campground, one of the neighbors to the campground had some chickens that were taken from his farm. So maybe it's back to good old animal mutilation.
Yeah. Once again, taken from the farm. So it wasn't just killed at the farm, right? It was gone. So one of two things happened. Um, it either found a way to grab this chicken with its little hoofs, and then make its way on out of there, or it grabbed them like each by the neck, one by one. But I just love the idea of like it comes in, smashes the chicken with its hoofs, and like tries to carry it.
Well, I guess the good thing
You know
about
what?
having
What I'm getting at, there's a reason predators don't have hoofs.
well, here's the thing.
Uh-oh,
From a
predators do have
biology
hoofs?
standpoint,
You're not a biologist.
you're not a ology.
Okay.
You're not made of 70% of water. You're made up of 90% stupid.
Hey.
Anyway, anyway, what I was gonna say was, if you were trying to be sneaky and you were some sort of devil, a hoof might be better because you could just knock the chicken in the head
Oh my god.
and knock it out, no blood.
You
Then
club
just
it
carefully grab it with your mouth and take it elsewhere.
with your
So
horse
just like
mouth.
punch it really hard,
Yeah.
not hard enough to where it like bleeds all over the place. Just like knock it unconscious and then grab it,
Oh god.
transport it away.
The old smash and grab.
Yeah. So speaking of biology, 7 years later in 1980, the chief ranger of Wharton State Forest, Alan McFarland, claimed to see something that disturbed him and wasn't explained by his knowledge of wildlife. On South Jersey, there was a farm that had a pack of pigs killed, and he reported that all the backs of the heads were eaten.
What?
Just like eaten straight through, brain gone and everything.
What?
And the bodies were torn apart by claws, but there was no tracks around the bodies and no blood on the ground. So what's going on there?
Something else. Claws. Something's gonna be something else.
It could be the paws again, man. Nobody knows.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, that's wild that there's no.
But also, just
No
eating the
blood.
backs of their heads, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
We kind of touched on that earlier. Like, there's so much more meat elsewhere. Like, just the idea of going just for the head, that's crazy.
So then in 1993, kind of the last official one I could find, a Boy Scout troop was camping in Wharton State Forest when they had themselves a little scare. They reported whatever it was large, between 6 to 8 feet high, with orange-yellow eyes that seemed to burn into the back of my skull, and a set of wings unfurling and curling back on its back. These kids, for having such a rich language,
Yeah.
do not know how to structure a sentence. It appeared to have dark skin, somewhat like a fur. It seemed to have claws that hung out in front of the body, much like the velociraptors from Jurassic Park. The belly ended a couple feet above the ground, with 2 legs like that of a horse, for which it stood on, reaching the ground. I was lucky enough for there to be just enough light from the moon and from the dying fire to be able to make out what I did in the dark. The air around me became quite stagnant. I felt almost a paralyzation come over me, as if I could not react or move at all. After what seemed like hours, but was only a few seconds, I attempted to shake my friends awake and close the cover of the tent for fear that whatever it was trying to get in.
Ah, that'll stop it.
My flashlight was at the foot of my sleeping bag, but I made no attempt to reach for it, for fear that I would actually see whatever it was. I finally closed the cover and hid inside my sleeping bag, praying that it would go away. I then heard what sounded like hooves walking over rocks and twigs, and a rustling in the bushes further over to the left of my tent, as if whatever it was clamoring away. I finally mustered up the courage to take a quick peek outside the tent and saw nothing outside. The troop, and that was his full story there, and then it said the troop went canoeing the next day, and apparently everybody involved felt like they were being stalked, like that Sixth Sense thing that we were talking about earlier.
Well, that's pretty crazy, dude. That's just going back to like the whole everybody's had that fear of something being there looking at them through the window. I feel like anybody that's been camping has had that same fear of like looking out into the darkness and wondering if there's something there looking back at you.
I've had that many a time, brother.
Yeah.
Many a time.
Also, I like this detail. Like clearly, 1993, the year Jurassic Park came out. This kid saw Jurassic Park and was like, yeah, those claws, just like the movie Jurassic Park.
I liked it.
Yeah, that little extra edition.
It just gives like a subtle plug to his new favorite movie.
Yeah, just like in the 1993 award-winning film Jurassic Park. Just like in my new favorite movie.
As far as explanations go for the Jersey Devil, there's a couple. There's not a ton proposed though. In my mind, there's not really any great ones, except maybe one.
Oh, okay.
So a fun one that was stupid. I don't even know why I said that. So the first theory, which is a fun one, is so at that time, whenever the Jersey Devil first kind of started becoming a thing, that area of New Jersey and the Pine Barrens was known for, one, importers that would go there and go through the woods to avoid customs tax, and then two, it was also known for people making a type of hard cider called Applejack.
Nope.
That was
Parker,
not legal.
That's a cereal.
Tell them that. They're the ones making it, calling it Applejack. But yeah, basically, this proposed theory is that there's like these people that were cutting through the Pine Barrens to try and do illegal stuff, like avoid taxes and do like illegal liquor stuff. So there'd be like revenue officers that were trying to collect these taxes and catch people that were trying to do tax evasion. And they could have been like killed by these people, because apparently the Pine Barrens at that time was like rough, and there's like a whole, they call them pineys, the people live there, basically like New Jersey rednecks.
Yeah.
So basically what people theorize is these officers, the revenue officers, would go into the woods to investigate and try and catch people, and then they'd turn up dead, and then the people living there would just be like, oh, the Jersey Devil got him. Oh no. You know?
Yeah.
Probably not very credible, because, I mean, even the reports we do have, they weren't, like, killing men. And I feel like it'd be pretty easy to catch on if it was only revenue officers that were getting killed.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You know?
All these killings keep happening in the Piney Woods, but it's only people that work for the government.
So then there's some people that have said that it's some kind of bird. Like, once again, we get the sandhill crane, just like the Mothman theory. First off,
but the rest of the body, though.
Yeah.
That explains the wings, but like with Mothman, okay, I kind of get it because it has a big wingspan and its body is like kind of big, but like if the rest of it is dang near a horse, you know?
Yeah, one section's a horse. The wings supposedly look like bat wings. Like, people are very specific about that, which sandhill crane's wings do not look like bat wings at all.
Not the slightest, yeah.
And, you know, sandhill cranes don't have giant red glowing eyes.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
And they talk about how thick the hind legs are, you know?
Well, yeah, every description says it's like it's got a horse head and all that. And like the Mothman one, it doesn't have a head, so I could see how people would see like the skinny head of a sandhill crane as if it was like no head at all. Whereas this one, that's a pretty freaking giant head, dude. Horse heads are huge.
Yeah, and everybody described this as having like quadrupedal.
Yeah,
had four limbs for sure.
Yeah, this doesn't fit the description at all.
And then, just as far as the Jersey Devil being like a for real creature, if it really looks like that, I don't think it exists. because those wings would biologically not work.
Yes. There's no way.
It is way too big for the supposed size of the wings. It would not
However,
work.
if it were some sort of
Jetpack.
demon type thing, jetpack.
It's just
Have you considered a 1940s version of a jetpack? Now, but if it were some sort of demon thing, maybe its light comes from something else.
yeah. If it's a demon, then it doesn't matter. But people were supposing that it's like a real creature. No,
Yeah.
come on. It would be like, why on earth would a creature emerge that just has all these random features from other things that directly go against each other?
Mm.
Like, there's the platypus, which is basically a chimera, but like everything works, you know.
Yeah.
Like if it's got a horse head, why does it need claws? You know what for? Because then it doesn't even have the teeth to eat the thing
Yeah.
that's tearing through. Anyway,
Also, why does it have wings if it's this giant, like, horse built thing?
Yeah.
Like, ready and built for running.
yeah. So I don't know about that. The most credible theory is that the whole Jersey Devil is entirely fake.
Ah, okay.
And this is the history stuff that I was talking about.
Okay.
So, you remember Mother Leeds, the one that gave birth to the Jersey Devil?
Mother of the Jersey Devil.
So-
yes.
Her husband was Daniel Leeds, and he was a real person. He was actually the first published author in New Jersey.
Wow.
He was a Quaker, but he was kind of an odd cat, and he started mixing science, the occult, astrology, and magic into the Quaker faith. Like, he was like looking at like Capricorn. He's like, oh, if Capricorn's in Aquarius or all that jazz. I don't even know what any of that means. If Sagittarius is in my aquarium, then he's like, then God's telling this to his people. Obviously, the Quakers didn't like that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were like, "You're not a Quaker," and he's like, "Dude, I'm totally a Quaker."
I'm such a Quaker,
They're
bro.
like, they're like, "Quit doing the devil's work with magic," and he's like, "God made the magic."
No, I'm
And
doing
they're
the
like, "No, he
Quaker's work with
didn't."
magic.
Yeah, so basically they bullied him out of being a Quaker. And then as a rebellion, he changed to becoming an Anglican, which is the Church of England. More on that later. So Daniel Leeds also supported a British appointed governor, Lord Cornbury, that the Quakers hated.
Oh, wow. He's a terrible Quaker.
Yeah, he's a really bad Quaker. I don't
Yeah.
even know why he's still trying to claim Quaker before he changed to Anglican. So basically, he's now converted to the English version of Christianity and openly supports a British appointed governor that all the settlers and Quakers hate. Around that time, Leeds had made an almanac using his astrology and occult-based stuff, with his son Titan taking over after some time. The young Ben
Wait.
Franklin...
Titan.
Yeah,
That's a pretty wild name for a guy.
yeah, that's a cool
Can you
name.
imagine,
Well,
like you're doing your roll call in class? Like, you have Richard, you have Jonathan, you have Jacob, and you have Titan.
my firstborn confirmed is going to be Titus.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Tinnitus?
Titus.
Titus. Why Titus?
A good Roman name.
Yeah.
Anyway,
From an Austrian
So-
Irish household.
yeah, same thing. Whatever. It's biblical. It's fine.
Nah.
So then the young Ben Franklin, under the name Richard Saunders, created Poor Richard's Almanac, which you might have heard of. And he made that almanac directly to spite Leeds.
Oh, cool.
They'd make jabs at each other and even predict each other's deaths.
Wow.
And Ben Franklin had a whole joke, like it was a long running joke where he'd like talk about how the ghost, like after he predicted that Daniel Leeds died and he didn't die, he would say like his ghost has returned to haunt me and make my everyday a waking nightmare.
That's funny.
Like with his like bad jokes and stuff. Like they're just roasting each
They
other
just hate each other.
in their almanacs.
Wow.
Yeah, they're predicting each other's deaths. It was like a whole thing. Titan died in 1738. Not one of the predicted days, by the way. So bad job, Ben Franklin. And around that time is when colonists really started turning against the Brits. Since Leeds' family were all sympathizers with the British, they started to be used by Franklin and folks in the area to literally demonize the British. Because the Leeds family crest just happened to have a wyvern on it, aka a bat-winged dragon. And the local publishers started using the Leeds Devil in a bunch of political publications, and the story just kind of unwound until they made an origin story. And the origin story is actually speculated to have come from a real-life lady that was a part of the Puritans named Anne Hutchison, a feminist who fought against the Puritans because she didn't like the role of a woman and everything with them. And she just so happened to have a 13th child that she didn't want that had serious birth defects.
And so it was a short leap to just be like, oh, that was actually one of the Leeds babies. And this monster. Quick thing, a bat-winged dragon, wyvern, that's a badass freaking crest, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it had like three symbols on there, but the dragon had already been kind of a big symbol in like British politics at the time.
Oh wow. Okay.
So then colonists started using it, but then a lot of those local New Jersey Quakers were really mad about the British rule.
So they wanted to go away from dragons and whatnot.
Yeah, so Leeds already had it in his family crest, and he was a big sympathizer, and he was fighting like head Quaker Ben Franklin at the time. So then they just took the wyvern and made it into the Jersey Devil.
Wow. I mean, that checks out in terms of stories and whatnot. Now, what that does not cover, though, is all
1909.
Yeah, dude, all the sightings from 1909.
What happened in 1909?
Like 100 sightings, dude, that's a lot. Why don't you just be like one deer was just like a real jerk?
I struggled with explanations for this episode because, like, okay, one's funny. Okay, that one's obviously can be debunked. It's not a sandhill crane. Come on now.
Yeah.
Okay, this explains
the origins.
The origin, but
what about everything?
Over 100 sightings in just 1 week in 1909, and there's no way somebody could have
before and after that as well. So
there's no way that somebody could have hoaxed 100 sightings in a week, and like doing the rooftop thing with nobody noticing, and like people.
That's a lot, dude.
Just dozens of accounts of people literally watching it fly.
Yeah.
I came out of this one. I was like,
there's no explanation, dude.
Yeah, I was like, there's the story. Like, okay, so this obviously happened. Like, this is recorded American history. We know that they basically just stole a family crest and made it into the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
But something's happening there, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I was at a loss.
This might be the first episode where we don't have a proper explanation.
Yeah, the other ones we either had like definitive or we were pretty sure.
Yeah.
This one from what I found, I'm at a loss. I have no clue.
Yeah. Wow. If anybody's watching this and has any more information or any thoughts on it, I'd actually kind of like to do a follow-up on this. And please send it in to us.
I was trying to find everything that I could.
Wow. We have our first unexplained creature.
And none of the explanations really jived for me. Like, it's kind of just like versions of they could have seen this animal, and like just every time it was like, I mean, some of the animal ones that people compare these cryptids to, I'm like, I could see that, I guess.
Yeah.
Like if the Mothman sandhill crane, I'm like, okay, if it was very specifically, you're looking this way, it's dark so you can't see the skinny head, like maybe, but there's no way a random animal can look like a horse with bat wings,
Yeah.
with clawed front, hooved feet, and like curly horns.
Yeah, no,
There's
that's
no
freaking crazy,
way.
dude. Huh.
And like it's one of those ones where it's so crazy, you're like, okay, I can believe that it's made up, but there's so many sightings, especially in that 1909 period.
Yeah, because like
What was
regardless of whether or
happening?
not it was actually like the Jersey Devil as we know it, they saw something, dude. There was something out there at that time.
Yeah, something was terrorizing New Jersey
Well, shoot,
and
that's pretty
that
cool.
area of Pennsylvania. Yeah. Spooky times.
Huh. All right, so we got ourselves the first episode where we don't know.
That's a 10th episode special.
Yeah, 10 episodes.
We
in.
don't know what it is. Yeah, 10 episodes in. Thank y'all for watching.
Yeah.
We're hoping to get to, or 10 going on episode 3000. So
Yeah.
I'll be doing this till I'm old. One day I'll be 4D coming through your television.
Yeah, whatever it's holograms, we're sitting there in your living room with you. It'll be great.
Yeah, I can be like, this beer has an interesting aroma, and I'll hold it up to the camera and you'll be able to smell it.
I'll hold it through the television or the computer or whatever you're watching on.
Yeah. All right. Well, I believe that about wraps us up. I'll be hoping for a Jersey Angel to come around sometime.
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot nicer.
Her name's Snooky.
Why are you like this? Just the worst. All right, so you know how most angels are white? I'm imagining badly spray tanned angel wings.
Yeah.
That's how you can tell that it's Snooky. Anyway, that about does it from us here. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to like and share it with your friends. Comment if you guys have your own story you want to tell us. Then hit us up on social media or at our email, which is
legends@woolstein.media. It's in the description.
I will remember that someday.
It's our freaking last name.
Yeah, or drop us a comment on any of our posts. Hope y'all have a good week. Stay wild.
Yep. And live life legendary.